Hey guys, welcome back to my Araby Project update. I have two new characters I'm very excited to share with you guys. You can see them on the screen now. I'm going to do my usual thing where I will zoom in individually, show the work in progress, and explain any inspiration, painting, or anything else. So really excited to share with you guys. Let's go straight into, I think, my favorite conversion, which is the Araby Assassin model. So guys, up first is the Araby Assassin model, and he has become, right behind my Sultan, one of my favorite conversions and paint jobs. So clearly you can see he is quite unusual. Things to note, he is, I want to say, roughly half sculpted. I'm going to go much more into detail in the work in progress clips I took. Long story short, I took a Lord of the Rings 1985 Corsair, sliced him up, and then sculpted a lot of stuff on top of him. You can clearly see the inspiration came from the Highwayman model and the Assassin I had from Talisman. Just go back a couple of videos and you'll see what I mean. I just love the cloth covering the mouth. And let's start zooming in. I think the thing you can clearly see actually is the freehand, and the reason I'm fairly happy with how it came out is the more research I did into the Ottoman Empire, actual Janissaries, and just that time period, a lot of the fabric was very colorful and in your face. So you can kind of see, if the blue especially, I did a lot of freehand with flowers. So the blue was pretty straightforward. I just put flowers, as you can see, all around the cape, and now that I zoomed up, you can kind of see it's just basically dots and straight lines. But I'd say just from the distance, in reality, probably you couldn't actually see the individual flowers from a distance, so I think the effect kind of works. So overall, I did all the flowers on the blue, which is just the final highlight, which I believe is 50/50 Vallejo Magic Blue and Citadel Calgar Blue. I added Beheroth Edge paint to the mix, made the, I think, 6-petaled flower, and then for a final highlight, I used pure Beheroth Blue. I wanted to make sure it didn't stand out too much, which I think it does work fairly well. And now when you look at the pants, I also went for more flowers, this time a 4-petaled flower, and I went with using red. I thought it'd be a nice contrast to the green. It's a little bit hard to actually distinguish on the green pants, but I do like, it's a subtle detail, it doesn't take too much time, and overall I think I managed to get the effect fairly well. Moving forward, I am on the fence of whether or not I want to include the freehand to all the models I painted. I'm leaning more towards maybe the command models, my actual immortals. At the moment, it doesn't take too much time, but I'm thinking now, do I want to do 1,000 different flowers on all of the models? And overall, really happy with the pose. Again, I'll go in more detail in the work in progress, but fairly happy with how the pose came out. He's supposed to be implied like he jumped and now is jumping again. And we're gonna go on to now my favorite part of the model. It is the monkey. I guess I'll explain now before I go into detail. The monkey came from Citadel's very well known for Old Hammer, the Wizard with Flying Carpet. It is such a great model and not too expensive. You can assume to pay about 50 bucks, I'd say, is a pretty fair price for the full foot version and him on the carpet. And this monkey comes from just the flying carpet. And what I did was, well, before that, the monkey that Citadel sculpted was essentially a naked child, and you're gonna see it in the work in progress photos and videos. And he had looked horrible. He looked very scary. Does not look like a monkey at all, even though it's titled and cataloged as wizard with monkey. So I took the monkey, sliced him, and basically sculpted the tail and all the fur. And I love how he came out. Now, it does look like maybe he's too exaggerated for this pose, but I think it's a nice little compliment to the model. I didn't want to put a red-tailed hawk again, but I wanted to keep my philosophy and my rule of having my characters with an animal. And I thought it'd be cute to have maybe the monkeys scattered throughout as well. As I mentioned, it is a trading port. Araby is known for all the exotic trade and, textiles they produce. So it only makes sense that you see an exotic animal, you want to buy it. So I think it's really cute that he's holding on to dear life and he's screaming. So very fun to sculpt. Basically, the monkey was basically an armature, and I put all the fur on top of him. And I used real life reference photos of just a random monkey. I'll put the photo somewhere here. Fairly happy. You can see his pupils. He's like screaming and he's terrified. So overall, I think the model came out extremely well, quite dynamic, and a very fun challenge to kind of keep all of my models old hammer, but keep the style that the army looks cohesive, if that makes sense. Now, you may ask why I just didn't use one of the Citadel Thief range, also produced in the 80s. I kind of wanted a very unique, one-of-a-kind assassin, and again, I'll throw up my Highwayman photo somewhere here. I just love this pose, so I wanted to try my best to remake it for my Araby force. So very excited. He is my assassin in my Dark Elf army, and then I'll talk a bit more in depth about the sculpting, the work in progress, but painting, very straightforward, nothing complicated besides adding the freehand. So after the work in progress, I'll be back with showing the next character. So the work in progress, we have the Corsair from Citadel. This is what he originally looked like before I completely sliced him up. It's a fairly dynamic pose already, and just upon looking at him, I already knew, I could see the vision of him pouncing forward, so he's a perfect candidate to convert. And for this section, you can see how I manhandled him. I sliced one whole leg off, kept the boot, sliced the arm off, trimmed down the whole head, reposed the head, the arm, and cut the other foot and got the ankle to be at a diagonal, so it looks like he's like hopping up. So this was the original idea I had. I usually do this for all of my conversions, slice everything up and then fill in the gaps. And for this portion, you can see the green stuff work. Really proud of all of the movement in the fabric. I really took my time with it, probably about, I want to say, just shy of 2.5 hours of sculpting. I wanted to make sure I got the folds as natural as possible. The most challenging part was sculpting like the turban on top. I had to use a lot of reference photos to make sure I got the look right. The first time it looked like just a giant ball of green stuff. And here you can see, once I painted him, I actually added the monkey post-painting. So I had to start sculpting all of the fur, the tail, and overall very, very proud of the detail I managed to get for the monkey. I wanted the fur to all go in like one direction. So overall, I think I achieved the look I was aiming for. And we are back with the second character. He is actually the wizard from the Wizard with Flying Carpet / Monkey Companion. This model is the foot version, and he almost has no alterations besides the monkey on top. Like I mentioned, the monkey is naked. It looks like a child, does not look like an animal. So I sculpted a lot of the fur and added a tail like I did with the assassin model. And this miniature is very beautifully sculpted. If you are doing an Araby army or you just want a unique wizard, I highly encourage you to hunt him down, as he does come with the flying carpet. For this color scheme, again, I went with the freehand. I'm really leaning into the history and how they used to produce the fabrics of the Janissaries. Very detailed, like artisans produced it. So for this miniature, I wanted to kind of try my best at the freehand. So all the white you see here is free-handed. Now that you see it up close, not the most proficient freehand. I'd say each model took just shy of 3 hours to paint. I didn't want to put too much time. I'd say the sculpting of the monkeys and then the assassin took the bulk of the time, plus the other models I'm currently working on. But back to the wizard, very fun. I tried adding moons because for Araby, they have a lot of moon iconography, or the crescent moon. And then for the fabrics, I just wanted it to look very ornate, kind of random flashes. It could be wheat, it could be plants, it could be anything. And fairly happy with the color scheme. I thought the blue would really pop. And once you see my army shot towards the end of the video, you'll see that he does stand out quite a bit, which was the goal. And you can start seeing all of the flower petals once again, even in the front here you can see it. So let me turn them around. And I freehanded just some random, I guess, X patterns on the blade. I'm going to start incorporating a lot more random freehand just to give that real life look of the actual Janissaries. Let me see if I can turn them around without hitting anything. So yeah, the back, you can see I added a lot more of the blue freehand, and I think it works fairly well. Once you zoom in a lot, like you can see in the video, you can clearly tell the freehand is not that detailed, but I wanted to make it efficient, quick, but tabletop standard. The army already is taking so long, and I'm trying to basically paint them to like a tabletop plus standard, but at the same time I don't want to commit like a full day to paint a single miniature. I just don't have the time for that. Well, like I mentioned before, so many projects coming up that I really can't afford to do all the stuff. Yeah, so really happy with the freehand. Now we're looking, I zoomed in a little bit. He has the carpet wrapped around his backpack, which I think is fairly cool. Pardon the paint on my finger. A lot of detail, and I had fun just adding some color and then making the bags green. You can see a screaming face. So really love the model. I'm fairly happy with how he came out. And let me zoom out a little bit. The little red hat in the middle of the turban, I'm really happy with. And yeah, not much else to say about him. No real inspiration for the paint job. I just used my army color scheme and threw it onto the model. This is one of the very few models who has very little modifications, as I mentioned. And let's go look at the monkey on top. As you can see, he looks like a freak of nature. He is screaming, eyes wide open. I really, really love how they're coming along with the army. I've noticed now I have a lot of exotic animals. So I have the Pantang tigers, I have the red-tailed hawks, and now I have these small little monkey companions. And what I love about this monkey is he's mimicking the pose of his, I guess, wizard master. So very, very cool model. Had a lot of fun sculpting the fur, and fairly proud actually. If I guess I'll sound a little bit arrogant, if I didn't know any better, I would assume that monkey was like the official Old Hammer sculpt. I really tried to match and kind of exaggerate each strand of hair. It'd be cool just to get each strand highlighted, which was the goal. I think I got it decently well. Just really proud of him, and he took quite a bit because I guess I didn't know how to paint certain like freehand elements. I didn't know if it was gonna work. I should have taken some like work in progress videos of the paint job. At one point it looked pretty bad, but the more I stuck with it, he really just came together. So you're gonna see the work in progress now, and then after that there will be a recap of the current army as it stands. And here's the work in progress. So the model untouched, you can see the naked monkey weird imp child thing on his back, completely nude. So when I saw that, and even Sam completely laughed when she saw the model, so I knew a lot of sculpting had to be done on him. And here is the monkey after the green stuff. So you can just see his hands, his face, and his little butt cheeks are pretty much the only thing that are kind of exposed. It was a lot of fun sculpting him. I'm gonna try to hunt down a few more of these monkey guys, I think, and just scatter them through the army, but fairly happy with it. And it's just cool to have, you know, story with the models. And guys, here is the current army shot. I am very, very happy with how it's honestly just coming along. Very vibrant, beyond motivated and excited. A little bit daunting with realizing I have many more models to sculpt, but just this much in such a short period of time really brings me so much joy, and I'm excited to play them at events and get some battle reports in. So let me just give a quick, you know, view of the whole force. Not that impressive at the moment. I have too many characters painted, which is a shame. I have to start painting some infantry, but overall it really is looking like how I envisioned Araby. Again, I'm getting influenced by more the like real life photos. When I mean photos, like art depictions of Janissaries. They had such bright colors, and I think it really works. And I think I should note, let me grab him. I just realized I didn't do a close-up. Let me see if I can get it to focus. On my Sultan, I actually added the rose petals to his green arms. I know it's a very small detail, but I kind of wanted him to now match my new freehand that I'm doing. So let me know in the comments below if you think I should add the freehand to the whole force or just throw it randomly to any part that might be visually interesting. So again, here is the whole, I guess, depiction of the army. Planning to finish this unit soon so I actually can play games. The immortals are taking a bit longer to actually acquire a few more of the hobgoblins, so I may have to be a little bit creative with that approach. But overall, very happy. Probably after I get 500 points of Araby done, I'm going to take a small break to do another old world project, maybe focus back on the Dogs of War or even my small Nippon force. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Very happy with the progress. I know I've been saying that so much, but I may sound tired, but I'm very motivated. It's been a while since I've been this motivated, so I'm just really happy to share this with you guys.